Hey friends, what's up? And in this video, I'll help you figure out whether you need to prune Everbearing raspberries. What is a Remontant raspberry? A Remontant raspberry is a type of raspberry that produces fruit on the branches that grew in the previous year, and there will also be new shoots, and these new shoots will also bear fruit on the branches from the previous year. The harvest will occur earlier, but on the suckers that will emerge from the root system, the harvest will take place later. Well, now let me show you and tell you everything in detail about this precise Remontant raspberry that grows on my other plot. And I was shooting this video throughout the past year. Now look, you see, these are the new shoots of the Remontant raspberry that grew this year. The leaves on them are bigger, the stem is thick, green, and it's very tall. And at the time of launching this video, it's the beginning of July. And on the young shoots of Remontant raspberries, you can see that the harvest is just being established. She is still growing. And here are the raspberry shoots that I did not cut last year. They are already 2 years old. They're old, but as you can see, they already have a harvest. But the berries themselves are small, and there are also few berries. It is already the end of July, and what do we observe? On the young shoots this year, which have grown very tall, simply take a look at the abundance of harvest that will be available. You see, the Everbearing raspberry will continue to bloom and also ripen. There are currently no fully ripe berries at the moment. We are not harvesting yet. And here, take a look at those branches that grew last year. This year in the month of July, they are already producing a harvest. The harvest isn't very abundant, the berries aren't very big, but they're just as tasty. But most importantly, take a look at these branches. The leaves on them have a more yellow color. It is small in size. It is already beginning to dry out, and even the branches themselves are starting to wither away. This is all because the young sprouts, on which the main crop will be laid, exert a strong pull on the main mass of nutrients, drawing them towards themselves and effectively absorbing almost all of the available nutrition from the surrounding soil. Well, now take a look. It is the same old story, but now it is already the end of August for us. At this moment, the young shoots are commencing to yield their young harvest. Take a glance at the considerable amount he possesses, and also observe the impressive size of the berries. And the branches from last year, where the first harvest was, they completely dried up by July. And these young branches, which grew this year, will yield a bountiful harvest right up until the frost sets in. If the temperature is not too cold in the fall, you'll still be harvesting in October and November as well. So, the harvest season can extend into these 2 months. And the catch will be tasty and quite big. So now friends, I reckon y'all got it. So let's come to a conclusion. If all of you want to achieve an early harvest and a late harvest as well, all of you can choose to leave this raspberry bush untrimmed. In July, you'll get a harvest on these old branches. He'll be tasty but really tiny. And these branches will dry out very quickly. But if you want to get a really big harvest and get it even earlier than the end of August, if you cut these branches right here, because they're now taking nutrients from the root system, they'll start feeding themselves in the spring. And the young sprouts that emerge from the system of roots will receive a slightly reduced amount of it. And when we trim it, then the young sprouts will grow at a faster rate and start yielding crops at an earlier stage. So I recommend to you, whether in the fall or now in the spring, if you didn't prune your Everbearing raspberry in the fall, be sure to prune it. Trim it down to the root, and you do not throw away these branches. It is better to chip them and make use of them as mulch in your garden. This mulch will retain the moisture in proximity to the root system of your trees or shrubs, and it will also provide nourishment to the soil in the area where the mulch is spread. And I reckon those folks who grow both Everbearing and regular raspberries have come across this question. And how do you tell the difference between regular raspberries and Everbearing ones? Everbearing raspberry you already know. It gives a harvest both on the old branches and on the new shoots. And regular raspberries only yield a harvest on last year's branches, so you absolutely can't cut them under any circumstances. Remontant raspberries can be recognized by the remaining fruit set that you have. If you trim the raspberry plants in the fall, there will be plenty of this type of raspberry, and you will be able to see it. And in spring, you see, she's already dried up and falling apart, but you can clearly see there were raspberries here. And that means that this raspberry is Everbearing, and here, take a look, I have some Everbearing raspberries growing. And, as you can see, there is no harvest on it because it grew last year and hasn't yielded a crop yet. Here the shoots will grow and there will already be a harvest on them. We don't cut such raspberries, we just trim them. Well, I'll tell you about that in other videos because pruning and taking care of such a raspberry is a bit different. And we trimmed the Remontant raspberry plant right at the very bottom. You see, she doesn't freeze, she's green. But now all the food will go to the young sprouts that will grow here. And they will grow up real fast. And that's it for me. There's still a whole lot of work to do. I have a really big garden. There are peaches, plums, and apple trees. We gotta trim all this stuff this year. And there's also elderberry. And I'll tell you all about it soon in my new vids. So make sure to subscribe to my channel and don't miss the release of new vids. I wish you a successful day and see you in the new vids. See you later.